Well, it's the first stream of the year. Um, I don't know. I just a lot of people were so excited. The thing that's always comedic to me is when we have these end of the year celebrations and people go and pull out firecrackers and head to the Times Square, all these other little festivities. It's like, do you not realize it's the exact same thing except with a different number at the end of it? It's just, because of how awful. Like if something is bad, it's not going to change just because it's a different year. It's so funny because um I remember like this was the same thing. It was like, oh, 2020 was so bad. Hopefully 2021 would be so much better, and then even worse. So yeah, I don't get too excited for any of these festivities because it's just the status quo as usual. It was really interesting to film that video a day before the actual last day of the year. Because I did the end of 2021 video on, what was that, Thursday? Yeah. And that was only so I could kind of prepare what I was thinking, without just recording something off the cuff. And I did still record that without a script, but it was a lot easier to just have more than one take and try again and see what you missed or might have left out. I think I did a pretty decent job of conveying all the stuff that was really irritating. People are just really bizarre to me. I've never quite been able to understand some of the things they do, and it's not even like we could discuss the chick stuff, but you see other versions of what I'm talking about if you're online long enough. A good example of this would be that I was in a video game server about a month ago, or rather, I was in there up until a few days ago. I joined a month ago. And I only joined because I had this person I was trying to talk to, and she was like, "Oh, join this server. I VC in there all the time." And I swear, for whatever reason, it was her and this other guy who every time you play this game with them, and let's say you lose or you die or something that will happen to anybody that plays this game long enough. It's whatever it happens, right? They will laugh. Um, they'll teabag you even though you're on their team. Uh, and it's just it became so ridiculous and really annoying because it's already I talked about how it's one thing to not win a game, it's another for people to just start being like really nasty for no reason, especially if they're on your team, which is even more bizarre. um I also had one person in that server when I was saying, hey, why don't these two invite me to play with them, because they would never, up until like the last few days I was in there, after I'd complained, let me know that they were playing, so I couldn't be around for when they were available. And this stupid little kid says, "Are these your only friends?" And I just thought it was so ridiculously rude, right? For someone who I've never met, to ask me a question like that. So I had them muted for the remainder of the time that I was in that server with them. But it's just and it was really comedic in the aftermath of that because, and I could make a whole video on this because I've seen countless examples of it. When people online or in real life are rude to someone, they say nasty things, things that are messed up, etc. They always try to get out of the accountability of the screwed up thing that they said, and admitting that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said this, by claiming that they were joking. So after this kid asked me this ridiculous question, the one I just stated, one of these two other people that I would usually play with says, "Oh, it was just a joke." It's like, yeah, what is joking about asking somebody if they don't have any friends? You know, I don't really see what's comedic about that, but it goes back to this thing of how, instead of just admitting, yeah, what he said was screwed up, right? Because I don't go around asking people, do you have any friends, especially someone who I'm trying to play with and do things with as relates to a video game. No, every time they did something nasty or said something screwed up, the excuse was always, It's just a joke." I remember when I would play by myself, I would say, "Oh, it's too bad you can't hear your teammates and you can like speak to them and try to figure out what to do." It's like, you know what? Maybe it's better to not hear them if they act like this. And also, that's the other thing. I'm always told I'm so negative, but I've seen when other people play that game or any other game together, and they don't act this way. If one of them dies, they don't laugh at them. They don't make jokes at their expense. They don't try to like say nasty things for no reason. Um, I was in plenty of other servers where people played the exact same game and no one said, "Do you have any friends because you want to play with these two people?" Just that's why I said there's like this weird antagonism, associated with being a person online. And the main reason people do it is because, as we mentioned before, when people are online, they think they can say and do whatever they want to someone with no consequence, which is why they get their panties in a bunch when they get blocked on one account on a website, even though they can write their stuff anywhere else, because they don't think there should be any consequence for acting that way or treating someone else poorly. So I unfriended both of those two and left that server and didn't look back. Because like I said, I don't need in my spare time to be insulted by people, especially those who I voluntarily choose to interact with. Like I really have no choice when it comes to just what people will write on YouTube. But if I'm going to be in a server, I'm not going to be around and associating with prominently people that are rude for no reason. I don't go around asking people if they have any friends. I don't make fun of somebody when they die in the game. I don't, just I don't do this stuff. And I've seen other people who play that game not do that. So I know this is just them being really nasty for no reason. So I said that's one of the biggest things you have to experience with the internet. You just have to accept that while there are some times where you would like to speak to someone, just because someone is around doesn't mean they're worthy of hanging around you or being around you. And a lot of times when I say worthy, I'm referring to the idea that people will say, "Oh, this person doesn't talk to many people." Oh, this, like, yeah, because a lot of them are act like that. Also, I don't really like talking to someone who every time I speak to them, I have to play a game. Like my best friend called me last night and say, "Oh, put on Gears of War 3," or Left for Dead. That's not even a real friendship. That's just some like weird partnership thing with a game, which I mean, somebody else might like that, but I'm not really too much into it. I'm good. It's just really comedic that when you're online, you're expected to put up with so much from just the stuff people say and do, and a lot of times they're too cowardly to just admit that what they did was wrong. You know, which is why they preface it by saying, "I was just joking." That reminds me of when I had the call that I recorded for the that romance video back when was it October, and you had the woman calling me an idiot and all the rest of this nasty stuff, and in the thing you can hear her say, I think you can hear her say, I know it's in the full recording. Oh, I don't actually think you're dumb. I'm just joking. That's why I said they act so rude and they hide it behind joking. That's the go-to excuse for treating somebody like trash. Just say you were joking. It's a real nice little get out of jail free card from accepting that you acted very nasty. It's a fun little shield to throw up. I know what I said was screwed up, but I was just joking. There's another video I want to do about this woman I spoke to on there. She was from that same server too, who was, I think, fairly decent. I did I mention this? I don't know if I mentioned this on the other stream. I don't think I did. But anyways, there's another woman I was talking to, and she was decent to interact with. You know, she had her sad anime-esque backstory, which whatever. I didn't say anything about it. But what she did that ended up really upsetting me. And I told her this, and it's like I don't know what's wrong with people. Just they are so hypocritical, and it's like they don't even care. They just know they're hypocritical and think that we're supposed to just accept them for being that. So I sent her a picture of someone, and I'm not going to say who it is until I do the video and you see the picture itself. But it's someone smiling, and it's like, oh, this is me when I get a message from you. Now I sent this same picture, or I guess meme, to two other people, and both of them responded, you know, with happiness or saying, oh, thanks, you know, um, just generally like, oh, that's a pleasant thing to say to someone, right? That you smile when you get a message from them. In her instance, she decides to start talking about the way the man in the picture looks. And what's really interesting about this, right, is because I've mentioned before, I'm not a fan of people talking about the way other people look, especially when they hide their face, which is what she does. Um, she tries to say at some other point, "Oh, I don't understand why you're so offended by this." And this is the same heifer that admitted that she got that. What was that stupid thing she said? She gets offended. I'm not gonna look it up. She gets offended. She can't help but be offended when women are criticized, regardless of if it's valid or not, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. You know, getting offended when someone who happens to be the same gender as you gets critiqued. Now, what's even more, I'm bringing this up because I said she's hypocritical for believing that, right? Like knowing that she gets offended if someone who's the same gender as her is criticized, but then apparently not being able to understand where I, as a fellow man, do not like the fact that she talked trash about the way another man looked, especially if she's apparently not even into men. And then she started trying to play some weird game of minutia where she's like, well, I was talking about this part of his face, not his specific looks. It's like his face is part of his looks, you buffoon. Well, you know, if someone were, and I brought up the example of how if I have these different guys on here that are like analyzing how much facial hair I have, all this creepy stuff, right? And I said, that's them attacking me over my appearance. It's like, but would you consider that part of your looks? Like, yes, it's part of your appearance. We see it like where you get caught up on that weird, like dumb minutia crap, instead of just admitting you criticize somebody for something that you apparently would not like if chicks were criticized for, but we're supposed to just turn the other cheek because remember nobody cares about men, right? The only reason I haven't made that video is because I don't know what to call it. I've thought about maybe um woman criticizes, it's like it's a bad thing to talk about the way women look, but it's okay to talk about the way men look or something like that. It just really pissed me off because I'm so tired of these people who don't show their face talking about the way other people look, especially when it has nothing to do with the conversation. Everybody else I sent that meme to did not talk about the way the person in the picture looked. They just said, "Oh, thanks." Because the meme was, a man smiling and then me saying, "This is me when I get a message from you." Everybody, I said to three people, she was the only one that started writing some weird stuff, analyzing his appearance. And again, she's not even straight. So why does it matter to her? I missed your last stream, but I went back and watched it. Oh, thanks. I appreciate the +1 view. But it's just really obnoxious because this person says she doesn't like it when women are criticized. But which, oh, by the way, I've also got the screenshot where, so my favorite dog are dogs rather, or are Yorkshire Terriers. Um, and I sent her a picture of one just like as an example of what they look like. And then she says, this is, I'm not going to say the singer's name. You'll see it in the video, but she says this is what a certain singer would look like if she was a dog. And again, it's like, I'm not even a fan of that singer, but why like what's wrong with you? Like, why are you randomly bringing up some woman that has nothing to do with anything that's being talked about to belittle her appearance by comparing it to an animal? You see what I mean about how like people, and remember, this is the same broad who says she doesn't like it. She can't help but feel offended when women are criticized, regardless of whether it's valid or not. It's like, Bimbo, you're the same one criticizing chicks. So I guess you're offending yourself? That's why I said, man, something is wrong with them. I really told her to her face, she sounds just like, wow, that is incredibly dehumanizing. She compared the physical appearance of a singer to an ant to a dog in a conversation where I was just talking about dogs I like, and showed her an example of one I thought that like what the species I like the most looks like, and just randomly brings the singer up and says this is what she would look like if she was a dog. But remember, this is the same Bimbo who says I don't like it when women are criticizing women over their appearance, which I don't even do, when I'm speaking to her, and I have a lot more reason to do that than her. But I even told her to her face that she sounds like one of the trolls off my channel. You're a person who hides their face, who talks about the way other people look. And it's not like, someone criticized her first. She just like randomly brings up someone's appearance, and then I'm supposed to just put up with it because she's not directly attacking me. That's literally the only difference between her and any other of these people online, that she doesn't say something specific, because I never showed her what I look like anyway, but she doesn't specifically say something about me. That's the only difference between her and any other troll on Piscord, on YouTube, on Twitter, any of these other sites. She just randomly talks about the way people look while hiding her face and admitting that she's too cowardly to do a VC. So you're too cowardly to do a voice call to speak to someone voice to voice, but you suddenly, when it comes to talking about the way other people look, you get all this bravery. Oh, it's very dehumanizing. And remember, she I guess apparently believed that if I just talk trash about the way other people look that aren't him, he won't get irritated or annoyed by that. So yeah, I unfriended her specifically for that reason. I very much have despised and distasted when people randomly bring up the way someone looks, right? So I'm not going to sit here and give someone a pass for doing that just because they're not specifically targeting me. It's really funny too because the man she was criticizing the looks of, which if I do the video, you'll know who it is. He did more in 12 years than her and anyone on Piscord, YouTube. Pretty much 99% of the people on these websites will do combined in all of their collective lives. That's why you have to talk about frivolous crap like the way someone looks when you can't actually address what they did and discuss the impact they had. You have to get caught up on dumb stuff. Frivolous, irrelevant crap. I also have the screenshot where in like a span of 2 or 3 hours. Where is it? Because I want to just another example of the like, because remember I always say that chicks act like they have multiple personalities. So what ends up happening is they'll act one way a little bit, then a different way another a little bit later. Okay, this is on the same day, and if I do the video, you're gonna see where these screenshots are from the 26th, right? Where she says, I'm just criticizing his looks. And then after I say, there's no reason to do that, she gets called out for it. She says, I was commenting on what was on his face, not his actual looks. So the bimbo in one message admits, I'm talking about the way this man looks and criticizing him for that, even though there's nothing to do with what the meme was or anything. And then the other one says, oh, I'm just criticizing this part of his appearance, not his actual. You see how, like, it's the same day in a span of a couple hours, just this complete paradigm shift. I swear, I'm so tired of chicks. Just you can't speak to them platonically without them being ridiculous. You can't speak to them just anything. Like they're just bad. And remember, society always tells you feel bad for poor woman. Because when I was thinking of doing my video, I don't even know who Chad is, but thanks. When I was thinking of doing my video, I was going to talk about how when I was in 12th grade, I had a female teacher who said that in a conversation with me, because I asked her like, why do these classmates of mine wear makeup or some kind of thing or whatever, and she was like, oh well, women are more accustomed to being criticized over their appearance than men are. It's like, well, you can say that, but it's been really hilarious in retrospect to think about that dialogue and then have like nothing but people attacking me over the way I look, in spite of me never talking about the way chicks look almost ever. And you see the same thing here, where no one talks about the way anybody looks, and she just randomly brings up this man's appearance, and another conversation randomly brings up some singer and says that this is what she would look like as a dog. Remember, it's the same kind of stuff. Okay, Brandon, you're showing that you don't really pay attention to what I'm talking about. I'm sending a picture to someone as part of a meme, a random image I just selected. So the chances of that man in that picture being someone that just randomly in the past had spoken about her is not the case. Especially considering that he died before she was born, but whatever. So I said the worst part about these streams, people just write random stuff. They don't even listen to what you're saying. I just think it's so funny. Oh, you can't talk about the way women look, and if you do that, you're treating them as sex objects. But they can talk about the way men look, even if it has nothing to do with the conversation. It's a nice little dose of hypocrisy. That's why I said I can't get along with these people that say stuff like that, because it feels like they live in another world. Like if I don't talk about the way these people look, and then they get attacked, they go around rather attacking other people over their appearance. I don't see why they should have this shield placed in front of them, and I'm supposed to like specifically not say it's so it's just double standards. Basically, people miss the point and get caught on a shallow that has nothing to do with that point. Well, that's why in the video I was going to show how I sent that same meme to two other people, and they didn't say anything about the way the man looked because it's irrelevant. No, no one, like regular people do not just go around saying gross stuff about people, just out of nowhere. That's why I said when I've mostly had people saying nasty about the way I look, it was if it was in real life, it was in like high school, and then after that, it was pretty much never. Because most people aren't don't act this way. They don't just go up to someone, even if they didn't think somebody was hot or attractive, they still wouldn't just go up and go, "Oh yeah, look at this hideous human being over here." You know, that's why I said she's pretty much just one step away from being one of the trolls that's on this website. Like the only difference is she didn't say anything specifically about me, which I guess is supposed to be like the saving grace. I'm like, no, I'm not a fan of people for no reason attacking someone over the way they look. I'm good. Don't get mad at me for trying to be consistent. Just trying to figure out what to call that video. It's been really hard to think of a title for that. I know what the contents of the video would be, but an actual title is just kind of elusive. Maybe stupid woman is hypocrite, or stupid woman uh, doesn't like it when women are criticized while she criticizes them, or something. Because you have to bring up like people always saying it's bad to talk about the way chicks look, but then when they talk about the way men look, even when they're not even straight, we're supposed to just give them a pass. Don't get offended. Don't get upset. This is why I stopped aligning with the left politically. They irrationally defend women no matter what they do or what they say. Yeah, I don't believe in that philosophy. It's really funny. The if you remember the video from last year about the what was it called, the snake who called me friend or something, the Discord snake. That guy was the same way, where he would hide his face, and he claimed he had no sex drive, right? But then he would also talk trash about the way other people look, and I was like, can you stop? But it was the same thing, where it's someone who hides their face, who talks about the way other people look without any reason or rationale to do so. And then because they're not saying nasty things about you, you're supposed to just put up with it. That really is like a running gag where if I see someone talking trash about the way other people look, especially if it's on Discord, 9 times out of 10, they hide their face. I was in this one server where this person on my friends list, she uses Tinder, which I mentioned before. I hate that website and only used it for a week. But apparently, she had her avatar, her I guess actual face as her avatar, and some guy said that apparently the reason why she wasn't getting that many results was her lack of attractiveness. And it was like it was funny to think that it's like the same person who's saying it about her is hiding his face, right? And is like really trying to get me to believe or her to believe that if she's like what it's just so dumb, that was just another example of like the same thing where's a good something someone does this and they're like, I think you're ugly. Every time it's the same thing over and over. This okay, I already read that. But it's just like it was the same thing, and it's another example of how for some reason when people do it, it's usually someone that hides their face. No, the Discord snake criticized the looks of a man who's in his 90s and was like, "Oh, his face is melting." I'm like, you'll be lucky if you live to be 90, and you'll be very lucky if you get to do half the stuff that man did. I mean, but and it's like again, person's supposed to not have a sex drive, but it's talking about the way a man looks, and it's like what do you expect someone in their 90s to look like? Like, god damn, just give people a break sometimes. Like, holy hell, do you not know what aging is? It's like, I'm sorry, this man doesn't look pretty, according to you. So I said people are just unnecessarily like really disgusting for some reason. A lot of people have their hide their face while showing their soul. Well, I told you it was the same thing with those trolls from last year, the I word Goku guy and the other one, the other one that was on my channel for like 8 months watching somebody that he claimed to not like. Because that's what we all do when we're normal. We watch people we don't like month after month and write paragraphs to them. But it was the same thing. They both hide their face while they were, talking about the way somebody else looks. You would never date a woman with armpit hair. Like, man, you don't know what I would date. You really think if I think some woman has like an attractive face, I'm gonna be like, well, I would date her, but she has armpit hair. Like, I swear, out of all the men I've ever spoken to, nobody cared if one of them had that. I've never seen a man who thought a woman was attractive. Like, well, her armpit hair is a big turn. No, none of them, not once. I told you it's like a running gag where it like people always say men have high standards, but it's usually the guy bending over backwards to accept the woman while he has to like hope and pray that he meets her standard or that he's able to overcome the odds against the other 10, 20, 30 guys talking to her at once. Dude, that romance stuff is so slanted in favor of the chick. That's why I just said this is such a waste of time. It's just really hilarious, like the false pretense that men have standards. Like, no, they do not. Like every depraved thing or unappealing thing about a chick, you can find like a woman who had that still had a man interested in her. I'll always remember there was this one case. I can't remember what the specific names were, but there was a case where there was a woman who helped some guy, I think, kill her sister, her little sister, and then she ended up having a baby years later after like being pardoned or whatever. And it was like, yeah, the guy probably knew she did this and didn't care. He still, got in bed with her. And then the Susan Smith thing where she killed her kids and then had guards trying to do explicit stuff with her. I mean, it's just a joke, for people to really act like chicks have to do anything to appeal to men. It's hilarious. It's one of the biggest gags on the internet. Now, Chad, I want to ask you, since you're seemingly new around here, how many times have you seen someone go up to a woman and say, "If you want Chad to like you, you're gonna have to go to the gym"? How many times have you seen somebody go up to a woman and say, "If you want Chad to show interest in you, you have to have earn lots of money"? And they operate on the philosophy of standards for thee, but not for me. I'm like, who the hell is able? Like, it was so funny just thinking about that and knowing, how if we really wanted to do this, we could make a whole video just on different chicks from Facebook and show proof where there's ones that are overweight, ones that are not wealthy, ones that are not in shape, and they always have a man, But people really want to sit here and act like chicks have to do something to like when I had that one broad, which I don't even think that was actually a woman because we've had people pretend to be chicks on here before, say that, oh, they need to wear makeup and high heels and all this. Like, what are you even talking about? Because I would mention how when I went to both middle school and high school, makeup and high heels were banned. You couldn't wear them, right? Chicks couldn't wear them, and they still had boyfriends. So it was like, what? You clearly don't have to wear that stuff to attract men, or at least they don't have to. So why would they? You know what I'm saying? It's just like more. It's just a false pretense that they actually have to do something to appeal to you. Most of the dating advice targeted at men usually tells men you're not good enough and you need to change. Yeah, and then even if you change, you still get the same result. Dude, what's that saying? The customer is always right. That's what they make the chicks out to be. They're always right. Everything they do is valid. Can never criticize or be upset with them at all. Just put up with their BS forever. So I said for the new romance videos, I'm gonna have a background where, like, for the majority of the video, it's just me hanging on a cross like that, because it's you just get blamed for everything they do. I've had women be pretty clear about what they expect in men. Right, but do you see men telling them they have to appeal to you by doing a series of tasks to better their chances with you? Told you I had multiple of those unsolicited advice, romance generals come to my channel and talk about, uh, you need to do this for the woman, and what can you provide her, and what do you have to offer? It's like, well, what the hell do they have to offer? It's like I'm not having them go on some multi-year quest to appeal to me. So why do I have to do that for them? Just it's such a weird series of events. People expect to just do all this stuff for somebody because they have a triangle between their legs, along with billions of other people. Mm. But do they have standards that apply to themselves? What standards? I'd love to know. I told you a lot of those guys say things that we can factually prove is incorrect, and they'll still just keep repeating it. Like, I showed proof for how the I word Goku goes like most women want kids, and then I show where statistically it's going down. I have anecdotal evidence from multiple chicks saying they don't want kids. I had one who said she'd rather get shot in the face than have a baby. It's like, don't come around me and spread that lie. It's just really hilarious that they act that way. But well, a lot of guys have the bread to upgrade a woman. There are plenty who subscribe to that role. What do you mean upgrade? Upgrading entails that there's like some downgrade that they have. Random chicks that nobody ever heard of that don't own anything. You still get told you have to do all of this extravagant crap to impress. Like that's the central narrative of why this chick stuff is as screwed up as it is. If a woman is working a minimum wage job, she shouldn't need a man to own multiple houses. Well, you know that if you were working a minimum wage job and you went around saying a woman needs to have multiple houses or this type of car, people would look at you like you were insane. So, they just let the double standards run rampant. And that's a big part of why I said it's like, what is the purpose of talking to people who you are never going to be able to meet the unrealistic fantasy of? If we actually take the advice that these people give seriously, and like let's say this is truly what these chicks want, no one is able to appeal to them, which is why you have loads of guys who are part of these different romance groups because they've made it so goddamn impossible to get the slightest bit of romantic reciprocation from a chick. A woman lives with her parents or doesn't have a car, she shouldn't expect a man to be fully established. Oh, that's also hilarious. I know, like I've seen one chick who lived with her parents all the way up into her mid 30s, and she gets told that she's high value and all this other shit. And I'm like, she doesn't even have her own house. Like I've never seen somebody with a one room shack, get treated like they're this amazing, prestigious individual. Like, okay, they have degrees, they still live with their parents. Like, give me a break, That's why I said it's never equal. And they can pretty much have anything that would be considered off-putting if it were a man, but still be accepted for it regardless. Plastic surgery. What is the beauty culture? Yeah, that woman stuff is really insane. People expect you to do a lot of stuff just for nothing. How did you meet my mom, Dad? Well, after I went out and approached 300 chicks and went to the gym for 8 years, finally one said yes. You don't think it's screwed up that people actually expect you to just, if you're a male, put up with a never ending cycle of the same result over and over? Like, I have people who I've explained to, you've been rejected this many times, this many years, and they still say, oh, eventually. And I wish they would just act like normal human beings. Because, like a normal person who's not trying to spew out random anecdotal trash that's not helpful to anybody would say, you know what? I get where this has been really irritating. I get where it appears that they're all the same. And if you want to stop talking to them, even if I don't necessarily think that's the right decision, I understand it. But you don't get that. You get told you're supposed to be this dog on a leash that continuously gets treated like trash and has their time wasted and just puts up with this forever. I mean, you listen to people on here, you would think you had an infinite lifespan. I think whatever floats your boat is the way to go. Just got to be real about what motivates the woman you choose. You can't pretend a spade isn't a spade. What woman like if you choose a woman and then she says I'm not interested, then what was the point of the of the choosing if you still get the same result? Because I already mentioned before, there's a whole bunch of those bastards I was at least fine enough with to go on a date with, but when they have the unrealistic fantasy, it doesn't matter. People on this website love talking in riddles. The female for you will someday be right upon you. Women have multiple guys in their DMs. That's why they want someone who is, I guess, better. It makes sense. Well, you'll see how much sense it makes when people tell you how, oh, there's so many chicks out there, but then there's loads of guys talking about getting rejected over and over. Like if there was somebody for everybody, wouldn't you also see like a bunch of chicks getting rejected too? Like no one's ever been able to answer that premise. If everyone has someone out there for them, why are there these large groups of men who've been rejected over and over, just congregating, just hanging around, all sharing their tales of getting the same result? I'd love an answer, James. I'm not even saying that to be antagonistic. I would love to know if there is someone out there for everyone. Why are there so many men who do not have a woman and who complain about having spoken to so many of them that they've lost count and now sit in groups of men who've had the exact same experience? That's just for promoting their products. I don't think most people see the beauty culture as universal. Right, but most of these chicks aren't amazing. They get a pass just for existing. I told you, man, the way these guys act, you would think every broad is like Scarlett Johansson or something, like someone that has like all this money and wealth and just like, but no, they're nothing. Like nobody ever heard of them, and they want you to do all this stuff to appeal to them. It's ridiculous. This whole thing is just so insane. I can't believe people actually just expect you to just be in this constant loop of the same thing over and over and never just say I'm sick of it. Remember when chicks don't want to talk to men anymore, they're independent, they don't need a man, but if you don't want to talk to women anymore, oh my god, you're what a sick thing. Beautiful people love to hang on with other beautiful people, are always around those with big money. It's like an ideology because it is their existence, but beauty is subjective. Like I can find comments on this website where people have called me ugly, and I can find ones where people have said I was attractive. So it's like I don't, when we start getting caught up in stuff like that, it goes nowhere. So I don't even talk about the attractiveness of chicks I speak to because what's the point? It's not something I can prove with any science or logic to it. Beauty culture. But what is, in your opinion, you're just talking about celebrities? Oh, they act like regular chicks are celebrities. All this stuff you got to do to appeal to them. So I mean, my friend had this joke. I might as well just go out and start approaching celebrity chicks. At least then, if you get the result, no one would blame you. Like nobody would say, "Oh, you got turned down by this star that's in this TV show with millions of views. What did you expect?" It's like at least they'll say, "Yeah, that's what's going to happen." Like they won't try to like beat you over the head for getting the same result that anybody else would. I mean, that's how ridiculous this woman stuff has gotten, where like the act of approaching a chick is almost like a parody of itself. I can't wait to talk to this broad for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And then she tells me that she's not interested and only wants to be friends or wants to stop speaking to me. Woohoo! The status quo is God. That thing stays the same year after year. They have a lot of social media clout and are well known. So, of course, you would refer to them as beautiful. But there are celebrity chicks that people call ugly all the time. And even chicks that don't have millions of followers or thousands of followers still get held up to this ridiculous degree. Where men, even men that are like more well known than your average guy, have to do things to appeal to them, right? So you like that's my point. Most chicks are not celebrities, but if when people are telling you to do all of these different steps just to maybe get a date with one of them, they are saying this random, ordinary, regular broad is so much more worth than you as a person that you have to do extraneous things just for the sake of maybe getting a date with her. To get this pseudo celebrity to go on a one night event with you, you have to do all this stuff that'll take weeks and months. And she still can turn you down anyway, and probably will if you go off your own track record. But yeah, keep going out and trying. I told you, man, all the years I'm on this website or on any other website or even in real life, I've never seen someone tell a woman, if you want to get with Justin, you need to go to the gym. You need to become famous. You need to be rich. Never. Because they don't have to do anything to appeal to you. And it's really funny that people actually pretend that men have standards. They do not. Sure, some men won't date certain chicks, but you can always find a man that will. Which is why I said you know this to be true from the fact that you don't see any groups of men, or excuse me, of women talking about how difficult it is to get a man to like them. No, those groups don't exist. And the few instances where they've seemingly popped up, like there was like a forever alone woman on Reddit or something, and it got pulled down because all the chicks that were posting on there were getting DMs from men that were interested in them. You know how that sounds like something out of a cartoon, right? Oh, look at us, poor little chicks. We can't get a man to like us. Oh my God, being swarmed by all these men. Close the group down. Close the group down. I tell you, we might as well just make the romance reality show where like every episode's like, these are my messages with this woman from this week, and this one from this week, and here's a recording of me speaking to this one during a call. Let's listen. Where like the premise is you have to talk to 100 or 300 chicks every year. So you like every day you got time to like 10 or 20 of those bastards just for a day. That is insane. But we might as well just go ahead and make that show now. Like if I just start screenshotting each one every week and then stick a little recording in there too. In general, guys do not have standards at all. There will always be guys that will accept a chick however she looks like. Not even just the way she looks. I've seen homeless chicks that have boyfriends, chicks that work minimum wage jobs that have boyfriends, chicks that don't have cars that have boyfriends. Um, like it's such a joke when people say women have to do things to appeal to men. To not at all. If you believe that women have to do things to appeal to men, that there are men that men as a collective have standards, I have a bridge to sell you. Like they don't have to do anything ever. And again, there are some men that don't put up with certain, like I don't really like overweight chicks, whatever, but there are plenty of men that do. Like I said, I still have the Facebook picture of the woman that was overweight, that was getting married to a guy that was skinny. And I didn't write anything nasty to her. I didn't say anything. It's just an example of the when people try to tell you that chicks have to do things to appeal to you. It's an example of how that's not true at all. I wish they would just come out and say that they think men should be women's slaves, that one side should be able to just be scot free of any attempts to appeal to you. And then if you're a man, you just have to put up with this BS forever. I've been looking at videos recently on guys who are not able to get in relationships and what they have all common. I know this is gonna sound stupid, but they said it, not me. Low self-esteem. Well, dude, they accuse anybody that's not with a bimbo of having low self-esteem. Like the same guys who will hide their face will accuse you of having low self-esteem when you show yours. It's like getting on camera doesn't make you have self-esteem, but doing this while doing that, yeah. No, man, that's just another excuse. Because remember what I told you, if you're not with a woman, here comes the personality test. Here comes the mental evaluations. Every time. Always has to be something wrong with you if you're not with a woman. Every instance. Remember, they're always right. The vagina tells no lies, except when the person who has it does. If you aren't with a chick, you're automatically, by their standards, have low self-esteem. But by their standards, you're just a piece of garbage. Like, remember what that douchebag wrote to me? What was that? The year before last? Why are you content with being mediocre? As if being with a woman determines your value as a human being. You see what I mean? Oh no, it was the person themselves said it, right. Well, look, I understand it. I'm just simply saying that when people say that about themselves, they're just continuing to peddle this narrative that people have because they don't want to ever criticize chicks, where they have to accuse literally every single guy that's not with one of having like some kind of mental defects, which is hilarious because I can prove a lot of these chicks have bipolar, ADHD, all like actual stuff wrong with them. And I'm not saying that to insult somebody or to diminish, to like speak ill of a person because of any mental illnesses they may have. It's just really hilarious to be accused of like there's some being something wrong with you, but then people who actually have something wrong with them, and then like do things that are screwed up after that, they get a pass. Like nobody accuses them of having something wrong. In a lot of instances, they actually do, but they don't get anyone analyzing their personality and playing computer psychiatrist. I really want to make like a little like compilation video of like all the different chicks on piss court that said they had some mental illness. Some of them even have depression. Yeah, I've met at least two of them in the last 2 months that have that. And still have a guy. Yep. It's so hilarious to see people actually pretend that men have standards. Would you date a woman with armpit hair over one who does not have? It's like, dude, nobody sits here and says, "Oh yes, this attractive woman I like. Oh no, she has armpit hair. Now with a turn off." That is hilarious. They really are living in the twilight zone if they believe that. If you're not with the woman, you have low self-esteem. Isn't it sad that chicks only exist today, just like in terms of their function for a lot of men to just be a thing that you can't have because no matter how many of them you talk to, you get the same result. and that other men use to like make weird character analysis despite having never met you and to say really gross stuff as if you've done something to them personally by saying you're not interested in talking to them anymore. Isn't that sad that like that's the ultimate function they have for you? People really use chicks just as an excuse to treat a man like trash. It's really sad. I'm gonna call you out of your name. Why did I do something to you? Oh yeah, you said you didn't want to talk chicks anymore, so you're a piece of garbage. And usually they're not that direct about it. They'll try to like mask it in some stuff. Well, I believe you're not ready to be with someone. Like, according to you, I remember the one clown that was like, I know that you're not ready for a relationship right now because I've seen the way you act in your videos. Yeah, because we've never had people act one way on camera and then act differently off of it. That's never happened before. Watching somebody's video is totally a you might as well be living with them, you know. That it's a really good analysis of who someone actually is. God, what a joke. But you get the point. They always find a way to discredit the legitimacy of someone else's grievances with them. People really do love projecting their shallowness onto you. But you know, I said before that like I always make the exception that if a man criticizes the way a woman looks, right? Let's say if he's talking to somebody privately, whatever, maybe this is a woman he found attractive, he didn't find attractive, okay, but it at least makes a little bit of sense because he's attracted to chicks, so he'll notice that more than someone who's not would. But it's like the woman I mentioned earlier, she's supposed to be, you know, not straight, and she's talking about the way this man looks in this picture. Then the Discord snake was supposed to not have a sex drive, which is him basically saying he's not attracted to anybody. But then he's talking about the way men and chicks look. Like it's just a running gag where people who should not have a skin, like a stake in something, keep having one by talking about this stuff that shouldn't even be something they care about based off of what they've told us about themselves. It's a huge joke when people try to play window into your soul and tell you what they perceive is the reason you keep getting the same result. And the other thing that's like really funny is that even though chicks don't get rejected as much or anywhere near as much, whatever, they still don't have successful romantic lives either. Like the broad that I mentioned that the guy said the nasty thing about the way she looked as part, like, that was gross or whatever, but she's on Tinder. Do you think that if she was with this also amazing man, she would be on that website looking for bananas? Just gotta ask yourself if chicks are having these amazing love lives, why are they on these dating websites? If they always pick the man who's great and right and amazing and all this other, these what is it, the world's finest men, then why are they on these dating websites? I wish somebody would answer that. If they're so great at selecting men that they know will treat them well and that they'll have a good relationship with and live happily ever after, then why are they on these sites? Someone explain that to me. I'd love to know. Tell that to the guys that are in her DMs responding to your these chicks aren't amazing if you're Oh, okay. Oh, you're responding to him. Okay, that was yeah, they do gas them up and tell them how great they are. I said before, when I speak to a chick, even if it's one I like, I don't usually say complimentary things. Um, like in the whole 2 or 3 weeks I've spoken to the one that's on Tinder, the only thing I said nice to her, like as far as like complimenting, was when she said, "Oh, I'm not ashamed of my looks," and I said, "You shouldn't be." But that's only because it's like a defensive thing I do, where I just don't like when people without motive or what is a good reason to me talk about the way someone looks. So that's less so about her specifically and just kind of, not liking that behavior thing that people like to do. You trying to say a chick isn't allowed to have friends on other websites? Yeah, those are all her friends. Those are all her buddies and her companions. But you get my point. If they're so successful at picking men, why are they on these websites still looking for guys? No one's ever able to explain the dichotomy of that. Because remember, people always say, like, that's the biggest issue when you have a group of people who say chicks pick the right men or good men, right? Then why aren't we hearing about more of them getting married and living happily ever after? Instead, the reverse is true. They get divorced, and if they do have kids, they have them out of wedlock and put the guy on child support. Told you every time I saw somebody in real life have a kid, it was always by accident. I'm not even joking. Outside of celebrities, I've never seen in real life people I know personally. Two people get married, whether it's a year, couple of months, whatever, and then they have a kid. I've never. Every time it's always, oh man, I was with my girlfriend, and then like the rubber broke, and now she has this larger stomach. Every I'm still gonna do that video, the never-ending accidental pregnancy, minus the fact how she is with someone is supposed to talk to or be with if they feel bored, etc. They don't need to be on other websites looking for other guys to talk to. Remind me of that crazy chick on Reddit. Wait, which crazy chick on Reddit? The one that had the 50 men like DM her just by like putting her gender, or the one that was like saying all the sexual stuff and admitted she had like 20 something guys in her DMs, and then she started dating some dude in real life and wasted everybody's time. There are a lot of crazy chicks on Reddit. For jokes because the woman will say, come up with a funny pickup line. I'm just saying, people don't need to, I don't need to hear any more trash about how they're so great at picking men, but then they're on these websites still looking for bananas. Because guess what? If I was having this amazing love life, you know what websites you wouldn't see me on? Tinder, eHarmony, any of these other stupid places. And people always say, "Oh, it's always been this way." Well, I mean, my parents aren't on Tinder. In fact, nobody in my family that's over the age of 40 is on that website. So, it's just more proof that getting a partner is more difficult than it's ever been. And for men, a lot of times it's impossible because you have to put up with external factors of her talking to loads of other men. The unrealistic fantasies of chicks in general. Just it's not as easy as people like to make it seem. Oh yeah, just keep approaching and somebody will like you eventually. It's like, yeah, she'll like you and then say I changed my mind, or I only like you as a friend, or some other little add on. Like after that broad asked me on a date and then that it turned out the way it did, that was the complete just kniving of the illusion. To be honest, I don't think anybody takes dating websites seriously. Well, James, if they don't, then why are they using them? I could say I don't take I don't know, piss cord seriously, but if I want to speak to somebody, that's where I go. Yeah, the one who got with the guy in real life and quickly changed her interactions she had with you even after talking in a sexual manner toward you. I wish you could. I wish I could make like a whole video just with all the screenshots of that. It's like she really sat here for like a whole week or 2 weeks saying all this stuff. I'm gonna spank you and put you on my lap, and then I'm like, what happened? Because she stops talking that way. Oh, man in real life. She has to now, hey, she gonna start retconning, like, oh, I never said this, or oh, I did only meant it as a, whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna do that as a social experiment where I'm gonna talk to some woman in like a really, well, we already had that happen with the in October, but like talk to one of them in like a really sexual way. And then you're like, oh, I have a girlfriend in real life. And they're like, well, why did you speak to me this way? Oh, I was this is before I met this person that I really like. Just like very quickly change my tune. Remember the chick you mentioned before said that chicks are were treated. Oh yeah, yeah, that stupid bimbo from the what's the video? Which one is it? Oh, the woman tries to control me, fails miserably video. Yeah. Women were just given to men like cattle. And then she's so dumb, she's admitting her dad did that to her mom by her own time period. We're with men they didn't love. If chicks today were so good at picking men, wouldn't divorce rates be low? Divorce rates would be low, out of wedlock births would be down. Instead, the reverse is true. Told you, I can think of multiple chicks who've never been married and they have multiple kids by different men. You know, like those are not successful romantic relationships. They're not. That's called hopping from one banana to the next. God, I can't believe people actually like say this stuff and they take it, they really believe it. They're like, oh yeah, it makes total sense for a woman to sit there and talk to a man that she doesn't find attractive for weeks or months, and then you just keep doing this forever. Yeah, I swear that chick stuff is just the bane of my existence. Like ever, like just knowing that people they took something that's supposed to be enjoyable, which is going on a date with someone, and turned it into this like ridiculous, arduous quest. And then when you're like, all right, well, this isn't going anywhere. I'm tired of it. Let me retire from doing this. Oh, there's something wrong with you, and if you just do what I'm telling you to do, you'll see a different result. Even though I can't actually promise that. Just they took something that's supposed to be enjoyable, just made it a living hell. Like both the chicks that say no over and over, and the guys that act like they're darling angels. They really turn this into something that is not fun or enjoyable at all. No, they're not. What are you talking about? Divorce rates are at a record high. Same thing with people not having kids anymore, or if they do have kids, they're out of wedlock. James, you're gonna have to show some statistics on that. I have. It's still in my email, not email from my Google Docs, that showed that birth rates of kids out of wedlocks are going up, and divorce rates are going up. So I'm gonna have, that's a hard pass. And hell, if they do go down, it's only because nobody's getting married in the first place. You know what? Let's look that up. Marriage rates. That'll be the next one to investigate. I've told you, man, every time I see a romantic relationship between two people my age in real life, it's the same thing. Like it turns out the same three ways. They either never get married and they just date each other for like year after year after year after year, which is the case with the dingbat with the baby. Or if they do stay together, usually it's only because they have a kid together, which is the case. Like it's always one of those two. One of my mother's friends got married, and I was like, I guess I don't even know this person. I might as well go to the wedding. I'm never going to attend another one, probably. I was like, that's like the being asked if you want to go see the all the planets align there when there's a blue moon. I told you, you have an easier chance of getting somebody to carry your kid for 9 months than you do of having someone to like let you put a ring on their finger. That's how backwards things are now. Oh my god, there's something wrong with chicks. Like I don't I don't get this at all. They act so insane. Hold on, let me open the window. All right, that one's open. Forgot we have this bipolar weather where sometimes it's really cold. I guess it was really cold, then today it's hot. Okay, I'll look that up later, James. I'm not gonna click that right now. Or dodge rain thunder. Yeah, it'd be easier to go go and dodge in the thunderstorm than get a day. I mean, hell, you don't see anybody telling you got to go and become a millionaire or be in shape to dodge rain. So yeah, it would be easier to sneeze with your eyes open and get a woman to agree to a date. I'm not even, and I've said this before. I'm not joking. I believe I could run for my local for Congress for my House of Representatives seat, and I'd have a higher chance of winning that than getting a date. And I would need over 100,000 votes to win. I'm not even saying that to be comedic. I think that would be a larger realm of possibility than getting a date because people aren't as picky with who they vote for. You know, Magumi, you don't think that's sad? I believe I could get 100,000 votes to win a seat in the House than to get a date. Oh, thanks, Jim. And I gotta see when the ballot deadline is because I'm not gonna, I already know I'm not gonna win, but I have to see when the deadline is to get my name on the ballot. I appreciate it. That'd be funny if we make that like a whole series of just videos, like I'm just going to different neighborhoods. Hey, I'm running on this issue. I'm not even saying any of this to be comedic. It would be easier to win a house seat than to get a date with one of these chicks. That's how you know how screwed up things really are when you consider those comparisons. Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything you think might be very difficult is easier to do than getting a date. Because if you have the same result year after year, you know what you do get confidence in? Chicks doing the same thing over and over again. The possibility of genuinely going on a date is so ridiculously low. It's insane. And it's not ridiculously low because all these chicks are famous, or they all have boyfriends, or they all are so out of your league, whatever that trash they like to say is. It's because they have standards that damn near nobody can meet, which is why there's entire groups of men that talk about how insane they are. Listen, we need candidates that understand the issues and have ideas. Well, I got a lot of ideas. I just don't feel like walking across like if just the whole if the district were smaller, for example, AOC had to get 15,000 votes to win. Like so her district's not even a third of the size of mine. I'd be a lot more open to just doing it, but that's the biggest issue, just how much people you have to talk to and like it's but these chicks are wacko and realistic. I told you, man, when you see some of the stuff people tell you to do to appeal to them, and then you remember that they're never told to do anything to appeal to you, you would get sick of them as well. It's your fault that you were rejected 90 times. But then if the situation were reversed and you rejected chicks 90 times, guess what they would say? It's your fault that you're not with anyone because you rejected everyone that was interested in you and your standards are too high. So if you reject women, it's your fault you don't have a girlfriend or woman partner, whatever. And then if you get rejected by them, it's also your fault that you see how like you whatever. It's always designed to be something that you're crucified over. That was really funny. This guy was like, "Have you ever rejected a woman?" Yeah, twice. I can count all the times I turned one of them down on one hand. It's so unrealistic. It's not even funny. James, you don't stop posting these links. This isn't the promo account. You're gonna turn into a billboard for all these websites. I told you I'll look at the first link you sent after the stream. The problem would be solved by replace by legal. People have said that before. Again, if you want to get screwed, whatever, you do what you want. But for me, if I want a date, which yeah, there are hookers that will you can take out on a date, but if you want to get married, have family, there's really no way of getting that without chicks not acting this way, which I don't think they will stop doing. So legalizing hookers isn't going to do anything for them, especially when I mean, it's already legal in the state right next to mine, so I could just drive over there if I wanted to get banged. If that was my top priority, as I've been accused on here of wanting, which is the dumbest thesis statement I've ever seen. Like I'm instead of I want to get screwed. So instead of talking to what's what we're saying it, instead of going to the state right next to mine where I can pay a price and have that done over a weekend, I'm going to talk to chicks year after year and acquiesce to their petulance. So the competition would increase. More men would chase the hookers than play games. Well, I already did that video about how the hookers are more desirable because at least with them, you know what you're getting, and you don't have to see when people get caught up in feelings. It's a way to have a problem with someone without being able to articulate why they have a problem with someone. A hooker will just tell you, "Hey, you give me 150, we can go to the back." Like they don't. There's just a more clear cut, much more simpler way to actually get them to do what you want them to do. And I appreciate that because I get tired of the same cycle repeating itself. That really is a last resort, to be honest, but it's certainly an option if that is what you want. Much more reliable too. Yeah, but if you want companionship, right, you're out of luck. Normal chicks would get less attention. Oh, definitely. You think if men could just go to a certain part of their town and pay somebody some money to lay them down, they would care about some random broad in the computer showing her booty to everybody. No, they're really lucky that hasn't been legalized, and I don't think it ever will be. Any like across the whole country, that is, it'll get legal in some more states, I'm sure. They're really lucky. It will be over. You would still have some guys that would talk to these computer chicks, but the number would go down a lot. I mean, hell, I might even off take someone on some dates, like just anything. Because if you can pay somebody to do something for you instead of having to sit there month after month putting up with someone's weird mind games and whether they finally decide that they like you back, it's too much of a hassle. Like I don't have to like I don't know what's wrong with chicks, but I don't have to talk to a woman for a month or two or three or four to know if I like her. I just think that's so stupid. Well, we've talked about that before. Usually, when someone's getting their time wasted by I guess, potential romantic partner, if you want to call it that, it's always the woman doing that to the man, where she sits there and acts like she's interested, and then I got you. Plural marriages are off the horizon. Well, I don't even like any of these like date. What do you call it? Couples where it's three or four people. I'm not a fan of that. I already told Megumi why I don't think he should have taken that offer. Because it's like if you like somebody, why do you have to date another person? I still never understand the appeal or concept of putting up with a chick on a computer's nonsense year after year, ultimately getting nothing out of it. Well, you're supposed to put up with it on the premise that it'll eventually change, but the problem is if it happens to you year after year, it's literally showing itself to not change. And people, because they believe a man is supposed to be a woman's slave, are just having they're encouraging you to put up with that forever. $25 an hour. Down for 3 hours. That was the funniest thing on the hooker video where this person was like, "This is silly. A hooker does not care about you." It's like, oh yes, regular chicks definitely care about me. That's why you can wake up and have them block you out of nowhere or say they don't want to talk anymore because you misinterpreted their feelings. Yeah, they really care about you. Uh-huh. That was just so funny. Like, you really want me to believe that regular chicks care about the men they speak to for weeks and months? Yeah. Again, I have a bridge to sell you. Oh my god, the blocking is so exhausting. I swear, man, they love doing, and sometimes it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you don't even piss them off, and they'll when I get unfriend or make it to where somebody can't talk. It's always after some big argument where I tell them this is what you're doing that's pissing me off, and I don't believe the person is being receptive to my complaints. I'll tell you, there's a whole bunch of chicks I just get rid of after a while because it's not going anywhere, and sometimes it regresses too. Ah, yes, never doing that polyamorous relationship or interaction with any chick. Straight up, no, no, straight no, no. But you know what I'm saying? That like with a lot of chicks, you just get tired of putting up with their trash. Like the one that was talking about, you can only message me 4 times a month. It's like, are you out of your damn mind? I've been blocked, so saying hi on PDF and Facebook. I can't remember when I was like in I think seventh or eighth grade on Facebook. There was a chick that blocked me for saying hi. Like I said hi and then I got blocked. I told you now it's me doing the blocking. I don't care anymore. Just leave me alone. I'm sick of you bastards. You had your chance. I really would like to make like a little not a scorecard, but like basically take the last 20 or 30 chicks I've spoken to on the internet and just see like statistically what is the average of me being the one that stops talking to them because it's definitely more slanted in terms of me saying, "Hey, I'm done with you," or getting rid of them because it goes nowhere. Yeah, because of your gender, most likely. I mean, I told you about the one person that unfriended me, and then what was it? They unfriended. No, they didn't. They unfriended me, and then they sent me another friend request like an hour later. Like, what's wrong with you? There was some broad that did that about 6 years ago, where she was like, "I no longer want to speak because I don't think we're compatible." Blah, blah, blah. And then like 3, 4 hours later, she's like, "Well, I still want to talk." I told you that chick stuff. Just it. The number one thing they have going for themselves is that talking to them goes nowhere. You will get the same result over and over. Like talking to chicks really is like being on a damn hamster wheel, just running on that thing over and like in the same spot. And again, people are really surprised when nobody wants to put up with that anymore. The black hole. No, their number one character trait is to talk to men that they're not interested in, but have no problem speaking to for week after week, month after month. Got to keep the perpetual wheel spinning. Yeah, the status quo of going out and talking to chicks that aren't interested in you, but pretend to be, and then get being told, oh, just keep putting up with it. Just do it year after year. You keep getting the same result. Never get tired of it. I told you anything else people have said stop doing it. If you want to be a rapper and every time you go and sign up for some record label, they say, hey, we don't like your music, goodbye. And it's the same result year after. People would say, go do something else. If you want to be a lawyer and for 10 years you kept failing the bar exam because they keep switching the answers, all kind of little different stuff, people say go do something else. Chick stuff is the only thing where you can perpetually get the same result and you're told just keep putting up with it. One day, eventually, someday, somebody will like you. If you have a vagina, you get a boyfriend in like a year or a couple of months. But if you're a man, you have to put up with a decade long saga of the same thing repeating itself over and over. The more I think about it, I don't. Um, I'd have to really think because I don't remember my interactions with every single chick. But I think last year might have actually been the first one besides 2019 where I just didn't approach a single chick. Like the thing with the broad in May was her asking me on the dates. And then the one in January with like the two that had boyfriends or whatever, I mentioned before, they just reveal that stuff to you without you asking for it. So yeah, I just didn't approach a single one last year because I'm really sick of these bastards. If Kim can pass, anyone can. Wait, is that yeah, okay. No, the vagina plot armor where they can do things to you that if you did to them, you would get in trouble for. I told you, like little girls get in more trouble than actual women. Like if they do something wrong, they'll actually get held to task. Like if they go to school and let's say they, I don't know, cheat on a test or something, or spill something, you'll actually see teachers and adults say that's wrong. You need to make up for your mess. They only become unaccountable when they get to, you know, high school and everything after that. It's just a really pathetic state of affairs. Again, this is the direct result of what happens when you don't offer any incentive to men to keep asking them out. You get people who just don't want to put up with it anymore. Like the same thing happening over and over. Man, that woman stuff is so nuts. Oh man, James just gave up after he posted all his links. He vanished. When the stream needed him most, he vanished. I mean, whatever. People they show up for like 10 seconds anyway. Yeah, actually thinking about is insane. Well, yeah, because it's really crazy that one gender gets held up to such a higher priority as to make the other one, completely devoid of actually having its needs or concerns met. Like I told you, things are so backwards that you've had people who will speak negatively of men approaching chicks by saying they're thirsty, or you'll have chicks who will complain that men approach them. But then you also have people who say men should still go out and talk to chicks, like some of the trolls that come on my channel. So it's like, well, what are you supposed to do if the people who are supposed to always be the ones that get approached don't like being approached, and they won't approach anyone themselves because they're too damn cowardly? What do you do? Just It really is you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But people don't think when they type stuff, so they don't process that or understand their own hypocrisy. Like I said, this woman stuff is just it's a really frustrating, frivolous task that pretty much always ends in the same spot. I'm so tired of getting these random calls from spam numbers and all this other trash. Well, that was the point of going on Reddit. I would go on there. I mentioned before, this like 2015, 16, whatever. It's like I would go on there every day because I had a computer class where they would let us use the school's laptops and just log into my account on there and type stuff to different chicks, and it was the same result each time. You get some of them that will abruptly stop speaking to you, um, which happens a lot, and you'll get some who will just say they're not interested after no matter how long you talk to them. It could be a week, it could be a month. And it was like, isn't it sad that people really expect you to just keep doing this just over and over and over, never just nonstop? The only explanation I can come up with is you're romantically cursed because you have approached too many women to just get. Yeah. Well, I already made that video, The Romance Curse. But see, here's the problem, right? With that thesis, James. If you say I'm cursed for as many, like, we don't know how many rejections most men have had, or a lot of these guys on these websites have had. So it's hard. Like, if you want to say I'm cursed, then you'd have to say the same thing about a lot of other men because there's whole groups of men with the same issue. So this is a wide ranging curse, this big hex. I already told you, I think it's just chicks being stupid. Jem says women are just way too picky. I mean, over 100 women, come on. That logically does not make sense. It does if you consider that you have people who think I'm supposed to talk to 200, 300 of them, which really consider that you got to talk to 100 women for a date. And that you're supposed to look at that and go, yeah. Jem says they are dumb. Well, I don't think they're the sharpest tools in the shed, that's for sure. Yeah, just a date. Not to get married, not to have my baby, just a date. But it's too much. They took the simplest thing that you could do with another human being that you, I guess, like to some extent romantically, and just turned it into this weird, never-ending quest. It's really sad. The same result has happened so far to far too many other guys to suggest one guy is romantically cursed. Though that's why I said if I'm cursed, then a whole bunch of other men are cursed, and dates are expensive. Dude, imagine getting a date right with a woman, and then after you go on the date, she's like, "Well, I think you're nice, but I didn't think we connected, so I only want to be friends, and I'm not interested in going on a date with you." You see how like it would be like the status quo going back to itself, where it looked like it was going to be different because one of them, agreed to it, went on it, and then it was the same thing. Magic does exist then. James, how did you know about my Doctor Strange 2 cameo? Dude, I said before, Jim, the next broad who says I just want to be friends after I make some romantic pass or whatever, I'm blocking. Go be friends with the 900 other guys you talk to, not me. The next time I see the sentence, "Can we be friends?" or "We're still friends," or that, it's over. I'm pressing that red button so quick. So it makes wonder here. Oh, so it makes wonder there may be something wrong with people on the other side who aren't reciprocating. Well, that's my point. That if the situation were reversed, and let's say it was men just turning down chicks like crazy, they had whole groups of chicks. Do you really believe somebody would say, "Oh yeah, there's something wrong with all these chicks that these men don't want"? No, they would accuse the men of being gay. They would say, "What? Why? What is wrong with these men? All these attractive women, and they're not interested." You know that they would make the chicks the victim of circumstance. They would not justify all of these men acting the exact same way, despite us all being supposedly so different from each other. So you wouldn't see this. You wouldn't see like purposeful attempts to play character assassination on someone just because they're not with another person. They would blame them. Like I said, if I came on here and did videos where I'm like, all right, so here's the story of how I rejected 90 chicks over 7 years. You would see people saying, you're not going to end up with anyone because your standards are too high. But when it's the chicks that turn people down, oh, it's okay. They just weren't the right fit. Dude, I told you there are chicks I don't even think are attractive. But that's why it's so funny to have guys who go like, "You're too ugly." Like, there are so many chicks I don't even think are attractive, and like they still have a boyfriend. So what does that tell you? Like, what a joke. That's why people just say whatever. They don't even care. They're like, "Yeah, this is true because I say it is." I swear, man. I still have the picture of that overweight woman that married that man that was skinny. And every time I show that to somebody, they always say the man is out of her league objectively because he's in shape, she is not. And they always say, yeah, you can't sit here and tell a man who's not overweight to get in shape for chicks, but then you have chicks that look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man getting married. Like, don't sit here and play that stupid game. Don't allow one side to have standards and the other one is not allowed to have any. I wish I could find the Reddit message where the broad was like trying to convince me to not say I'm not interested in overweight chicks. I really wish I could find that message. I said, damn well, if I was 300 pounds, nobody would be on this website talking about, well, we need to understand his personality and he might lose the weight later. No, they would all be saying nasty stuff, writing all kind of gross things. Like, don't even play that game with me. It's just a feminist society and you aren't in it. Yeah, that vagina plot armor. They get to be selective. They get to pick who they want. They get to not talk to men if they're not interested in dating anybody. But if you say I'm sick of the same result with chicks over and over, guess what happens? You are quitting prematurely. You probably have this personality defect. You should do this. Just it's all slanted toward them. They are also allowed to have problems as well. Yeah, like I know men that'll date chicks with kids. You think if I had two, three kids with other women, I'd have people saying, "Oh yeah, you should date him. You should give him a chance. He might be nice." You really believe that? What's even more funny is that with the dingbat with the baby, I mentioned before that I saw her hugged up on this other guy at the mall like 2, 3 years ago. And after she had that kid, sure enough, I haven't seen any her being accused of cheating anymore because nobody wants to date a woman with a kid. Well, one guy did, but that's not her. That's another chick. First person I've ever seen have two kids out of wedlock by two different men in like 6 years, like not even a decade, just like a couple of years apart. It's like I hope this one stays. And somebody was so that's so mean for me. It's like I don't care. People insult me all the time. So you can't attack one person and expect them to be nice in return. What that one bimbo say? Be the bigger person. It's like, listen, I don't go around insulting people unless they insult me first. Put it that way. Like 99% of the time when somebody on here gets insulted in the video, it's because they came on the stream and despite me having never met them or done anything to them, ran their mouth and said nasty stuff about me, and then they get what's coming to them. Women don't even use the term overweight to describe men. They call it well, I just don't say fat because I was trying to like I guess sound sophisticated. But you know what they do, right? If a woman is overweight, body positivity. If a man is overweight, you need to go to the gym. Dude, men aren't even overweight. They're still like go to the gym. Like this person that's never exercised a day in their life needs a man with a 6 or 8 pack. You get what you gave after all, yeah. And if you didn't give nice, you're not going to get nice. My favorite lie was when they would say, "Oh, he bans people for having a different opinion." Because Megumi, remember, we always agree on everything. We've never disliked or liked the same show or movie. Uh, remember, you got banned for liking something that I didn't like. I don't know why it's so hard to just not say ridiculous things about this romance stuff. Like when you do the character assassination stuff, oh, you probably did this, you probably did that. Anything I can say to defend the dingbat, like yeah, you're going to get in trouble. Who wants to talk to someone that is so goddamn antagonistic? They have to write fan fiction about the love life of someone they've never met. I remember being, I remember when being overweight for a chick was frowned upon. Not anymore. I told you, chicks can be like they can be anything, and they'll have a man that's interested in them. That's just. And again, I don't. I always try to have to keep explaining this because you have people who try to like put words in my mouth. I'm not against other people liking things I'm not into. It's just don't sit here and act like men should have to jump through 900 damn hoops for people that don't do anything to appeal to them. That's why I said it's modern slavery. You got to go out and approach her. You have to do all this stuff to appeal to her, and then she just, by virtue of existing, is superior to you. Swear that woman stuff just it has really just fried people's brains. Curvy equals fat plus size equals fatter than fat. I told you if somebody else wants to date a woman that is large, whatever, I don't care. But don't come to me and act like I'm supposed to sit here and go to the gym for somebody that never has exercised a day in their life. Because that was one thing we talked about since we never put up any of these women's pictures. A lot of these guys just assume all these chicks are very skinny or they're all in shape. It's like, so let's say a woman I approach, just hypothetical, not saying they are, but hypothetical. There's a woman I approach, she's 300 pounds. I have to go to the gym for someone that is that large. Is really seriously that makes sense to you? That's like a logical thing that should be done. So I meant when I said double standards. I don't think it's right for a chick to be ridiculed for her weight. Just keep the same energy for vote when it comes to both genders. Well, I don't go around just attacking people over the way they look, so I don't participate in this cycle. Um, but I'm simply saying that if the situation were reversed, I would not get the same courtesy and understanding and all this other fluff. How does that one song go? Oh, I'm gonna defend chicks until I'm blind because being obsessed with them has destroyed my mind. Yeah, that's what they do. They sit there and defend them they really they kill their own brains because they write things that have no logic to them. Oh my God, don't go by the voice. I attack them when they are looking down on me. Yeah, you say something bad, nasty to me, you get some nasty said back. Just like when I brought up the kid that was in that server. If he hadn't have said, "Are these your only friends?" He wouldn't have been muted. He wouldn't have been told, go, piss off. But if someone says something nasty to you online, you reserve the right to say something nasty back, regardless of what their gender is, how old they are. I don't care. This is really why I just don't worry about relationships. Yeah, there's almost nothing good about them at this point. Yeah, it's just a shame in reality that isn't the case. Guys don't get the same courtesy. No. You don't get the same courtesy, luxury, nothing. Just and remember, you don't even have to be overweight for them to talk about the way you look, Like they'll just say that about men that are not muscular, which most people are not. Just like how most people are not rich, but they're still sitting over talking about just aim to make lots of money. I said, let's just on a hypothetical, if I was rich, I probably would give some to my brother, my father, my mother, my grandma, my grandpa. I could think of probably 8, 9, 10 people I'd rather give some money to besides a worthless broad that is a dime a dozen like all the other bimbos. Like it's just funny. Like even if I was rich, it still wouldn't go to them anyway. It would actually go to people who had been there for me, not some Johnny come lately. I'm at the point where I only hold doors for old people. Now you abandoned me. You stopped doing the calls. I don't want to talk to you anymore. The only thing you get is a mod ship. And then you had that No Way Home cameo that you didn't even tell me about. So no, you're not getting anything other than the cold shoulder and a back turn. That's all you receive. Yeah, you won't be getting any kind of prize after what you did. Oh, okay. They want. I didn't read Megumi's other comment. They want to control your response to them, which is the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, people online have the right to talk to you any kind of way they want, right? It's free speech. But then they also want to control how you respond to what they said to you. I can't believe you made a video on me calling you a piece of garbage. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. Then the video would have never been made. That's happened at least twice where there was some like broad that responded to me making a video. I was like, yeah, then don't say these gross things. It's just like with the one that was that got recorded. It's like while she was saying all that nasty stuff, I just had that gut feeling, and it's not because I'm psychic or I'm some brilliant analyst. When you get the same result from chicks over and over, which includes them saying things that are indicative of someone who's interested in you, but then not actually doing it, you can reasonably infer that if one of them shows interest in you, it's probably not actually going to go anywhere. So that's why I was recording when that was going on, and I was validated later on by her the way she acted afterward. So you don't sit up and just call me for 4 hours talking that way, and then backtrack the next couple of days, and we're supposed to pretend it didn't happen. Nope. Yeah, basic pattern recognition skills. Like that's not the first one that said that type of stuff to me, and then nothing came out of it. We brought her up earlier, the chick from Reddit. All that sexual stuff, and then the ultimate culmination is her changing her tune after she meets some guy in real life, and then trying to friend zone me, and then getting mad when I'm like, "All right, thanks for wasting my time." Yeah, she was really mad. I didn't want to be part of her reverse gender harem. Like, oh well. Like, I don't know why chicks are entitled to you speaking to them forever. Why you have to talk to them until the end of time. Imagine how crazy I would look if I was like, well, there's this one woman. I'm probably gonna have to speak to her for at least half a year before I decide if I like her or not. Oh, there's this chick I met at the store. I'm gonna decide to ask her on a date after a year. You know, it's just weird. Yeah, reverse gender harems where they want to have 900 guys talking to them while they're dating somebody. It's like, oh yeah, this is my main man, but these are the other 7 or 8 that I can swap to or switch to after I don't feel like talking to him anymore. They got you as a backup plan. Well, Jim, I'm saying that every time I see a man talk to some chick for some excessive amount of time, it's usually the woman that's like holding off on actually saying if she likes him or not. And I'm just going off my own personal experiences. I don't need to talk to someone for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to decide to go on a date. It's not, again, it's a date. You're not getting married. You can, whatever. We already explained how they took something simple and made it all complicated and requiring of these arduous quests. Who could forget the bimbo from May? I thought I was interested, but I'm not. I just got really confused. It's like that broad went from asking me on a date to saying I needed to meet her parents, which I would not do because I'm not about to sit here and meet someone's parents just for them to do one date and then say I'm good. Then was saying I want to get to know you first. It was like, man. Then she did her ultimate backflip of, oh, I am not attracted to you. It's like, all right, yeah, that makes total sense. Ask people on dates that you're not attracted to. I'm about to use that excuse for everything. I thought I wanted James as a mod, but I didn't. I just got really confused. Thought I wanted to eat this food this person got me, but I didn't. I just got really confused. I really want to send that to some like random person in my message. Like, I thought I wanted to talk to you today, but I didn't. I just got really confused. That's the ultimate get out of jail free card when it comes to just like making commitments to someone and then stabbing them in the back. I'm surprised they're not asking us to sign NDAs. Oh, they love the attention. Yeah, that's why they talk to you for as long as they do. I mean, I don't need attention from stupid chicks. I can just, like I'm fully content with never talking to any of them again. It's just like if nothing's going to come out of it, I don't really see a purpose. Again, it's if something doesn't come out of it, it's always them who decline to take it anywhere. That's the running gag. No, I just see asking chicks out as just a total waste of energy. And I'll still speak to some of them just in a, I guess, platonic manner. But if I think about asking them out, I'm always like, oh yeah, can't wait for this one to say, well, I am not attracted to you in that way. I think we shouldn't talk anymore. We should just be friends. That trash. It really is damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you don't ask them out, you get blamed for like it not going anywhere because you didn't make the step or take the initiative, whatever trash. But if you ask them out and they go and they say no, then you just botched what was a decent dialogue with someone, over your horniness. So it's like, yeah, to hell with it. I got ghosted by a cashier, Victoria's Secret. I bet she thinks she's one of the models in that magazine. That's how big her ego is. Then she found out I have my own business. Yeah, and then her tune changed. That's why I think it's so funny that people always act like chicks are these pure, darling angels that care about the way somebody is, while the man only cares about the way the woman looks. I'm like, have you seen the internet? Have you seen how many guys accept chicks and have chicks like hold them up to some ridiculous standard? Like, get out of here. What about the one who aspired to marry you and then backtracked and wrote you a Dear John letter? No, she sent me a Dear John video. And guess what? She was so cowardly she couldn't even say my name in the video. I know you are doing this and I really appreciate it, but I am no longer interested. Yeah, that's trash. And she tried to get me to talk to her forever after that. Oh, I might change my mind. And then one day I just said, you know what, this is stupid. It's been going on for 2 months, and and cut it off. Yeah, I just don't like having my time wasted. Some people do, but not me. Because when you're trying to make projects and videos and do just other stuff, you don't really have the time to have people just like sitting there wasting it. Just it's stupid to me. And that's what the chick stuff has always been, just a big waste of time. They have ridiculously high standards, and they love to just lead people on for stuff that ultimately goes nowhere. And then when you get sick of it, they act like there's something wrong with you when the reverse is true. I remember we talked about how screwed up it is where it's like chicks get to go out and talk to men and get dates, and then you have to sit there and keep asking them out and getting the same result, and then go to this place, ask another one out, get the same result, just entirely caught up in this cycle of having the same thing happen over and over again year after year while chicks get to actually see some progression. And people really think you're not supposed to get pissed over that. Yeah, was it that was one of the most craziest cases I've heard. I told you if you can get chicks that to agree to marry you and then backtrack, ask you on dates and then backtrack, you know, say the type of stuff that you heard in that recording and then backtrack, what are you supposed to take seriously that comes out their mouths? Like if I ever have another broad say I'm interested, I'll think it's a joke. And I should. Look at the other stuff they've said and agreed to before. This time it's different, yeah. Rinse and repeat. So I said it was the hamster wheel. I'm getting real close to getting a little pet hamster and just having to run in the background. See, that's what the chick stuff is like. It's like this woman said no. Well, I bet the next 300 out of them, one of them will say yes. And then you talk to the 300. They all said no. Well, I bet the next 400 will say yes. Any sane, normal human being would be pissed at seeing that year after year, chicks constantly getting to progress into a relationship without any troubles whatsoever. Dude, they like the most problems they have is sometimes they might get cheated on. But other than that, pretty much nothing. Like they don't have men that only like them for their money. They don't have men that beg them for stuff every time they see them. They don't have men telling them need to go to the gym. They don't have like it's so complete. Just like with the stupid clown from the thing about the baby. She thought the guy thought she was cheating, and she was, but she didn't think he was cheating. You know why, right? Because when you're a man, you take whatever you can get, and you pretty much supposed to not get upset. Like I said, it's a really miserable outcome, and I don't blame anyone who looks at it and says it isn't worth their time because it's not worth mine or yours. Yeah, that chick stuff is just it's just a cartoon. So I said we need a romance reality show where every week it's like, here are my messages with these 6 chicks or these 5 chicks, and then this one got kicked off and we unfriended her, and then here's another one that we've thrown into the harem as well. It is funny too because chicks always out of nowhere mention having a boyfriend. Like I swear I never ask any of them ever if they're with anyone. They just randomly bring it up. Like I can show you 4 or 5 conversations with them where I don't even mention like that's a great yeah a romance reality show. But I just think it's really funny, like to like just sit there and archive the progression. Like At the same time, he was talking to woman A, he was talking to woman B, C, D, F, G. It's like, how many of these bastards do you have to talk to get a date? You know, just it's really nuts. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here. I've been going for 2 hours. Thanks, Jem, Megumi. Where's James? Where'd he go? Okay, there he is. Akatsuki Merchant. And I guess I don't want to say Happy New Year because that's really just a thing people it's very cliche, but whatever. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Mm.